Hey there, it's John and Dan with another edition of Dan's Models. And it looks like we're doing something HO scale today.
Yeah, this is a Walthers short tank car that I built. Actually, built and then rebuilt. This was a model that I got a long time ago, from when Walthers was still putting out kits. I don't think they do anymore. I think everything's ready to run these days. This was one of their tank car kits, and as I originally built it, I just built it straight from the box, and it was okay, I guess, but a lot of the details were oversized. And another thing about it was this railing up at the top here would always break because the uprights were made of plastic,
All right.
and it seems like every time you touch the car, they would, you know, be susceptible to damage. So
It looks like something that would be begging to be fixed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, it just got to be so that this thing just didn't look as good as some of my other tank cars,
Yeah.
which nowadays come with more detail. And so rather than get rid of it, I decided to rebuild it,
Of course.
and I also repainted it. Obviously, it's black,
Right?
which is
Well,
like a lot of tank cars.
That might be dark gray,
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, really dark gray. It's one good thing about a paint job like this. You don't have to worry about masking anything. It's just one color. What I did with it was I got, I think Plano sells these parts for the photo etched walkways
Okay.
and the uprights, and also the platforms on the ends. And I also did quite a bit of work to the ends. I added uncoupling levers, train line air hoses, and on the B end, I added a bunch of piping in the brake area with all the brake cylinder, reservoir, and the not brake cylinder, but the reservoir and the triple valve, to put some piping in there to make it look, better.
Was that all based on pictures and of real
Yeah,
tankers?
as much as close as I could get it. It's actually surprisingly hard to find pictures of cars like this for some reason. But I think I also replaced the brake wheel with a Katie part, and I can show the underside. I added a little bit of piping, not really so much full brake rigging, but I added some piping that was visible from the side of the car. And I also, these are Cato trucks with the roller bearing wheels, which actually have the rotating end caps, which is kind of neat. The little caps go around as the wheels spin. But all the ladders are new and everything. And I also did all the decals. And I actually used a car because it was the one I could find the most pictures of. The car I chose as a prototype is actually one that I think is on the Fort Worth and Western Railroad, if I'm not mistaken, being used as some kind of stationary storage tank because it's damaged.
Oh.
I think they keep it on a little disconnected piece of track, and it's got hoses and pipes permanently or semi-permanently hooked up to it, and one end is all smashed.
Wow.
I normally don't model damaged equipment, but in this case, because it was the best reference I had, I did, and I had to kind of piece the decals together too. It's all various microscale sheets, but there isn't a sheet for this car, so a lot of this really tiny stuff probably doesn't say the right things, but it's so small that it's almost impossible to tell.
Yeah, you may not even know.
Yeah. And I think I actually had to, for the load limit and that kind of data here, I think I actually had to piece together the right numbers,
Wow.
which is a real pain.
Well, good thing it wasn't N scale. Would have been impossible. You could just
Yeah.
put little dots on it, with white paint or something.
Yeah. But I also put the 2-inch composition brake shoes stencil on this part here, and I put some lettering on the end as well with the road number and some more smaller writing. Also, I used the Katie shelf style couplers, the scale or close to scale with the shelf couplers like tank cars have often.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the detail of that rail on the back. It doesn't look oversized. Did you make that too?
Yeah, this is a new this
That
part.
handrail? Yeah.
Yeah, I made those out of some smaller brass wire because the ones that came with the car were pretty thick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the size was, but they looked a little thick. And the same thing with the railings up on the top.
What's funny about that is I could tell just from looking at it that you redid it, because I know the kind of detail that you usually go to make it look right, and I knew that was done.
Yeah. So it was quite a lot of work. Unfortunately, I only have one of these cars, so I only had to do it once.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd do it again.
Yeah. Well, I have a question, and I think I know the answer to this. So this may be a question that's more to answer something that somebody watching might think of, which is they don't make small tank cars like this because they just had a little bit of stuff to carry. It's because the liquids they would put in there are much denser than what they would put otherwise, right?
That would be my guess. Usually car length is determined by the weight of the
right.
of the material that the car is carrying, which is why like passenger cars can be really long, because even a trainload of people, even if they're large people, is relatively lightweight for a train, you know,
compared to a dense liquid or something.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Which is why, and also why like a cement hopper is usually a short car because cement is very heavy. So it all has to do with, I think, the axle loading on the wheels and stuff like that.
Right. So it would be like a denser liquid.
That's what I would think.
Don't know what.
I don't actually know for sure what this car would be used for. But it's kind of cool to have, a little short car, especially if you have a small layout. Having a shorter rolling stock sometimes kind of helps. So that's one of the drawbacks of being in the more modern era. Since I modeled the 90s in HO, is that most of the equipment is fairly large.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a small layout, that's kind of a hindrance. So I can see where if somebody was modeling like the steam era, where most stuff was 40 feet long or less, that would be an advantage when you have a small area to work in.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I like this little car. So,
yeah, it looks good.
So
all right. Well, I guess that'll do it for this edition of Dan's Models. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.